Greetings, Flesh Wound Horror freaks, and welcome to Flesh Wound Horror. I'm Flesh Wound Dan, joined by producer Todd.
Good evening.
And Pugs Dread.
Namaste.
So, we're here tonight to talk Stephen King, and very, very eager to talk Stephen King. It's been a little while since we've had a King-themed show, and of course, mainly we're here tonight to talk about the new Stephen King documentary, King on Screen. And Dark Star Pictures will be releasing this documentary in theaters on August 11th, 2023, and on demand and Blu-ray September 8th, 2023. So this is, of course, 1976. Brian De Palma directs Carrie, the first novel by Stephen King. And since then, more than 50 directors adapted his books in more than 80 films and series, making him now the most adapted author still alive in the entire world. And this King on Screen documentary kind of runs down that legacy in film that Stephen King has, and it is not slowed down. In fact, there's been a pretty big boom just over the last 6 or 7 years or so, where I mean we've gotten almost everything. There's very little that hasn't been adapted by Stephen King, which is just amazing. There are titans that have never been adapted, or maybe only been adapted once. I mean, you've got contemporaries like Robert R. McCammon, hasn't been. It's wild. It's really wild how he just managed to explode like he did. And we'll talk a little bit about the doc, which I really liked that we opened up with kind of that Castle Rock theme with the callback,
familiar faces.
Yeah, the characters and everything. We kind of had that theatrical opening. Jeffrey DeMunn pops up, and Mick Garris, of course. And then it kind of segues into a more traditional documentary. But I like that opening.
Yeah, I had to do a second take. I'm like, is this correct? I thought this was a documentary. Well, we'll roll with it. And then I started seeing the familiar faces. I'm like, oh, okay. All right.
Yes, absolutely. And you get to hear from people like Greg Nicotero, Tom Holland, Mick Garris, of course, Mark Lester. Frank Darabont. I popped for Mark Lester, of course. And they do talk a little bit, because for Stephen King, a lot of people did start with the movies and then found the books, which
is that how you are, Dan?
No. Well, it's hard to remember exactly, because Stephen King goes back to like the beginning. There's always been Stephen King in my sort of horror story. He was always there, and I'm sure I had to have seen a movie first, but I did start reading at a very young age, and Stephen King was so readily accessible. So, you go into a gas station in the middle of nowhere back in the day, and even today to a lesser degree, and you had a rack with Stephen King books. It was so easy to collect Stephen King, and it just all kind of came at once. I can't tell you definitively what the first Stephen King movie was, what the first Stephen King book was, although I do seem to recall that Carrie was one of the early ones. I kind of remember that. But how did you guys if you have an early memory where it's like, oh, this is Stephen King, like your first memory, whether it was a movie or book or whatever?
Mine was a movie. It was, the TV movie. That's when I realized that name is what means horror. Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then, do your homework and shit, and you're like, oh, Carrie and Christine. And
what was the TV movie? You left that out.
It.
Okay. I just heard it.
Yeah. No, I didn't do a Dan on you, dude.
Hey, well, that's what it felt like. Mine is hard because like 85, it was like a ton of stuff right there. Like, so I can't nail down if my first thing was Cat's Eye or Silver Bullet. Could have even been Creepshow. I can't like, but they were all around the same time. Silver Bullet too, or did I say that one? I might have. But yeah, one of those three. I mean, I don't know when I like realized, okay, that moment where like, okay, Stephen King. It might have been. Yeah, I don't think there was a movie. I think I just kind of knew at that point because it was so big.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, and this doc does cover, him coming along in the 70s and just changing horror.
They didn't really go over the $1 thing, like you pay for the rights to the movie. I was shocked by that. They kind of glossed over it. I think Frank might have mentioned it, but I thought that would have been a bigger deal. It was affordable.
Yeah, you're going to have a lot here. Like, obviously, you can't deep dive into every movie because, I mean, it would literally be a 24-hour documentary at this point. I do like that the overall focus is his themes in his movies, always kind of focusing on blue-collar characters and doing that rather than, the typical, wealthy family, gothic mansion sort of thing. Like he definitely focused on the common man, which I think is a big part of what blew him up so much. And of course, Castle Rock setting everything in Maine. Just not setting his stories in big cities too, which was always interesting. And I think that's why he found such a broad audience because people related to it more overall, which really helped. I figured, and I was not surprised that this did focus on some of the non-horror stuff, or like,
Rightfully
Stand By
so.
Me. Yeah, which is important too, because Stand By Me is a fantastic coming of age story. It is a great movie, and you look right now, I believe it has been for a while, Shawshank Redemption is ranked the #1 movie of all time.
That's awesome.
I mean, that movie.
It's not my favorite though. You know what my favorite is?
Are we just talking?
Wait, hold on. Let me think what Pug's favorite King adaptation is.
Is that any King adaptation, or is that just the non-horror sort of? Okay.
Any. But that's top tier for me as a Stephen King movie.
I know Pug's personality. Let's see if I'm right. If not, he's at least going to say I gave a good
I'm
pick.
guessing Pet Sematary for me.
Apt Pupil.
Oh.
But was it a good guess?
Yeah, it was a good guess. No, Green Mile.
Okay.
I would put Green Mile just a hair over Shawshank too, although they're both classics.
Can't deny either one of them. But yeah, Green Mile for me, and then the It Chapter 1.
Yeah,
for a long time was The Mist, and then The Shining. But
talk about perfect
I'm a Silver Bullet
casting.
guy.
They take a little bit of time on Silver Bullet here. Like I said, this is not that doc that goes over like in-depth movie stories so much, but
it has enough though, dude. He did have that Hollywood moment with Bruce Willis. I don't want to spoil too much because I want people to watch this, but yeah, it's fucking fascinating.
We also get footage of him right before that accident where a lot of people thought he might not make it. And
the seeing the wires go through his leg, I was like, I don't think I've ever seen this. That's pretty rough.
Yeah, no, that was some scary shit. I remember when that happened and seeing it in the news, and I think that set visit for Green Mile, it was like right after that, pretty much. So yeah, there's a lot of
right before.
No, I believe right after the premiere. I think he had been hurt because he showed up at the premiere with the brace and everything.
Yeah, but when was he in the chair?
At the premiere. but he was visiting the set while they were shooting. He hadn't been hit yet.
The way he said it was confusing. I'll try it like this. He visited the set, had the accident, then the premiere.
Yeah.
Okay.
There you go.
That order was weird by the way he started the story. I get that.
I feel like there's a lot more too. Like, I don't know at some point if there'll be like some extended cut, but we did get to hear even from like a Craig R. Baxley who got to talk a little bit about Rose Red and Storm of the Century, which that's one I want to revisit because I remember that
you
one.
Mentioned that a couple times now. Yeah.
I revisited that. I told you I did that one pretty recently.
Okay. Yeah. Fan of it?
Yeah, I am. I actually ended up watching that with my mom. Another one that like from the later era, the 2000s that doesn't get a lot of love. I think I know Dan does though. Riding the Bullet.
Yeah, Riding the Bullet is like not talked about at all. I don't know, that felt like
it's like Mick Garris's best work.
I think at that point, I don't know. I mean, King has never gone out of style. Every book King releases is a bestseller. But yeah, like there's points where maybe the movies people weren't paying as close of attention. But I mean, you look at the 90s and I mean, you figure he gets off to a great start with Misery. Kathy Bates wins the fucking Oscar. He during the 90s, I mean, he ends the 90s with The Green Mile, which is a masterpiece. You've got Shawshank Redemption. Now, you also have some crap. That's not to say that I don't like some of the crap, but he also had, The Mangler.
Don't forget the one based on your life story, The Lawnmower Man.
That one I do believe does not count. He sued to get his name off of it, so that does not count.
Still, it's still based off his story.
It is not, and that was part of the lawsuit.
Okay, there we go.
Go and check. There's not a lot of King in The Lawnmower Man. But, Night Flyer, also from the 90s, underrated. I always liked Night Flyer. But yeah, I mean, he's a titan in horror, undeniable.
Sorry, I was gonna say sometimes they come back's another one. The Dark Half, the one Romero. Well, not the one Romero. The one based off of property, not an original one.
Well, George Romero was scheduled to direct, or in talks to direct, Pet Sematary, and he ended up doing Dark Half instead. Which I don't know. It's hard to. I mean, Mary Lambert did a really good job on Pet Sematary, so I don't know that would have changed a whole lot, or if we would have had the same movie, but. I do like some focus on Dolores Claiborne, which is a popular movie, but not one that's talked about as much. I don't know why.
Currently on HBO Max at the moment.
Yes.
Still trying to break that habit too.
Yeah.
They also talk about his wife Tabitha, who was a huge influence in many ways. I mean, she kind of got him out of his cocaine problem by
which one did she save? Because he threw a whole book
away. He threw Carrie in the trash.
And nuts. Fucking guy.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of like
why'd she pull Children of the Corn out?
The movie she could have.
I was gonna say at least the screenplays, throw those out.
Go for the negative maybe, but and they also go over the Shining stuff, which a lot of people know about that.
Seeing him berate Shelley Duvall, Stanley Kubrick, was hilarious because I've always heard. I've never really gone and searched for it. I've never really paid attention to him like getting irritated with somebody, but that was nice. Sucks for her, but
can you imagining that happening on a set today and that footage coming out?
Oh my god, he get canceled so fucking fast.
I can't even say they're wrong to go after him if they did that shit. But.
Though, like you can understand King a little bit more because over the years, when I was a little kid and even I was aware of this, that he wasn't a fan of The Shining, I would always think like it's considered one of the all-time great horror movies. It's considered a masterpiece. How could you not like it? But then you do realize that the book is just a very different thing. It's like they said in the documentary, one is cold, one is warm. And it is a very good book, but you know, Kubrick, man, like
I've never.
yeah.
I'm the one who I agree with King. They finally made me switch on him with Doctor Sleep, which is funny because then I heard King had the same thing where he could tolerate the other one now.
Yeah.
Visually, the guy had a point. Flanagan, that is undeniable. That you hear Shining, you think Kubrick's. Like that's the visuals. He nailed it in that pitch.
Yeah. And he made a movie that works on both levels. So that's what's great about that one.
Mick Garris had a story where he talked about David Cronenberg telling him that the Shining film doesn't work because they kind of foreshadow the ending as Jack Nicholson was just as crazy in the beginning. So, you know, I mean, he kind of has a point. I mean, I do think The Shining is a masterpiece, but I enjoyed kind of explaining that contrast because it is a very different book. And Mick Garris also getting a chance to talk about his Shining miniseries, which, you know, say what you will. I mean, Steven Weber's great. I'll say that. Steven Weber's very underrated. I don't have a strong opinion on that because I just haven't revisited that one in a long time.
I've watched that one a couple times. I do like that one, but I'm the one who doesn't like the Kubrick one.
Yeah, that's true. And I mean, the other thing they talk about that miniseries, Stephen King was an alcoholic when he wrote the book, but he was sober when he wrote the miniseries too. So
makes a difference.
Yeah. They spend a lot of time on Shining, which is to be expected.
I will say one thing I was lacking, maybe in the extras, because we will have it is coming out on Blu-ray in September.
Yes,
I just want to hear some cocaine rage during the Maximum Overdrive filming. I mean,
I'm gonna scare the hell out of you.
That movie was 1,000% fueled by cocaine, from the writing process to every cast, all the way through. And it shows when you watch that when you're like 80s.
The cocaine flowed like wine.
Gave us great things like Alf and Small Wonder too. So
fuck yeah.
There you go. Wow. They do also talk about Tom Hanks originally going to be playing Andy in Shawshank Redemption, but you know, Forrest Gump, which in that case, I guess, kind of
right decisions were made. Everything fell in the right place. Yeah.
I like that Frank Darabont, his only interaction ever with Bruce Willis was a random call saying he should cast Michael Clark Duncan.
He was right.
Yeah, for a Green Mile. That's some of the best casting ever. Michael Clark Duncan is so good in that movie. It made me want to go and rewatch it.
Boss. So tired of people being ugly. I love that fucking movie.
I haven't rewatched it in a while. You guys are making
kill him with their love, dude. You have to. I quote that shit all the time. Yeah, let's get it. Dan will be here.
No, we can watch Green Mile. Why not?
I can make Dan uncomfortable too.
Definitely, that is the case.
I'll see if I can find a 3D version.
I did laugh that they spent any time on that awful Stand remake.
I know.
Woof.
They had the guy there too.
Yeah,
look, I want to defend it because it's brave and it took big freaking swings, but it's not very good.
Yeah. Like watching it, I didn't mind the ride. It wasn't until I was done I was just like,
yeah.
I mean, I watched it. Yeah.
Rough.
But I mean, because I like some of the actors, the characters, but it just doesn't come to. And it didn't help. I did rewatch the OG like right before, within the year at least.
I like the Trump Randall Flagg comparison, and then I don't know why I was cracking myself up watching it, and I was just thinking like, now Trump's gonna like review the Stand remake. No one likes it. It is dumb. Your movie sucks. I just had that in my head, and it was cracking me up. But anyways,
I was expecting Kevin Smith to pop up too, because he's a big Stan fan. That's why Randall's name is Randall in Clerks.
I have to say, The Stand, of course, is an epic book, and nobody thought it could really be adapted, let alone as a TV miniseries. But the '90s Stand is pretty damn impressive, especially with the limitations of the time, and still
holds up great. I still love that one.
Way better than that crappy remake.
Which is on Paramount Plus streaming.
They streaming on Paramount Plus.
They do. I'm glad they talked about The Mist, because
so good.
The Mist is one that they do compare it to The Thing in terms of like it really kind of growing its base. I don't think it's at Thing level, but I loved The Mist, and I felt like, man, this isn't as universally loved as I would have expected it to be. I love that ending.
Yeah, like The Thing, which is why they fucking said The Thing.
Yeah, but The Thing, I feel like we're over a decade now removed from The Mist, I believe.
But you have to look at how long are we removed from The Thing. So it's had that long to grow. We're hitting 40 on The Thing. We're only hitting, 20 on The Mist?
Is it already 20?
Or like 15.
Okay.
Yeah. Something like that.
So, but that's what I definitely need to rewatch. I viewed it during my time. I like to have a beverage or two. Like, I don't remember that. I know there's a twist ending, but I don't remember what it is.
You don't remember? Wow. Then you should watch
it
ASAP. Yeah. Don't fucking give it away.
I'm not.
But make sure I just fucked myself because now Dan knows that I haven't seen it, so he'll slip.
Watch it tonight. It's worth it. I fucking love The Mist. Like, I didn't get the hate when everyone came out. I was like, why are you guys hating? This was a great fucking movie with a great fucking ending.
I remember liking it. I kind of, it's one of those, I feel like when I watch it, I'll remember it because I want to say things I kind of remember visually, but I don't want to.
Yeah. It's just such a cool premise. We got a season of the show that didn't get renewed as well.
I liked the show too.
I think I started watching that. Maybe I watched the movie right before then. What was that? Was on Spike TV, right?
No, it was Sci-Fi.
Was it? Yeah, I can't remember.
Yeah, it was Sci-Fi.
I mean, unfortunately, the show set stuff up, and there's no resolution to it, unfortunately. But
so I don't need to watch it then. Okay, got it.
It's good though what they did give us, but
yeah, I was in to see where it would go, but no, I mean, The Mist, amazing. Maybe it was just the casual audience thought maybe too bleak. I don't know, but it deserves more respect.
Have you seen it in the black and white presentation?
Fuck yeah.
Presentation? Yeah.
Yeah. Some people that helps because I don't think the CGI is particularly bad, but some people I know
it's definitely aged. Yeah. It's of the time. It was phenomenal.
Yeah, it was on Spike TV.
Spike?
Was it?
Okay.
Yeah. Shit, I don't remember watching it on Spike.
I could have sworn I remember the commercials and the logos after WWE.
There you go. They also talk his friendship with George Romero and conceiving Creepshow while he was visiting on Knight Riders, I believe.
Love that movie.
Just their ability in general to blend horror and humor. And I like that they also run down some of the poorly reviewed movies. And this doc kind of makes a case for some of them. I mean, Silver Bullet, not particularly well reviewed. Dreamcatcher, which got shit on pretty hard. And
I remember not liking that movie, but I haven't revisited it.
It's the ending. It's kind of like it from the first one. The ending kind of like pulls you out a little bit. It's a little. I'm not trying to say too much for people.
I don't even really remember as much about the movie. I know there was some acting issues in that one, and it just didn't click. But it's been forever. I don't think I've watched Dreamcatcher since I saw it in the theater. So it made me want to maybe revisit certain films that I haven't watched in a long time. It's a very good doc. It's a very, very good doc, and I will be picking up the Blu-ray when it comes out, and I do highly recommend it. There's so much to cover with Stephen King that obviously it's not going to hit everything, but I was satisfied.
I am more than satisfied. Like if you don't know shit going in, you're going to learn a lot. So this is a good starting off point.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I mean, and this is one I know a lot of us kind of know at least a little, but I think even still, this was a really good, well put together, good watch.
Mhm.
Kind of like a different documentary reviewed. I like the cinematic feel to the presentation.
Yeah, I agree. And we also end, I believe, on another sort of theatrical thing that I thought was a nice touch. So I believe, yeah, it's Yellow Veil Pictures, I believe, are doing the Blu-ray, if I'm not
Dark Star
mistaken.
Pictures.
Okay, Dark Star Pictures, and um, I am very excited to see what extra features they might have. 'Cause, God, there's so much you
Absolutely.
can cover.
So, rating the doc, what are you going to rate it?
I give it a 4 out of 5. I was very satisfied.
Pugs?
I'm gonna go 4.5 out of 5.
I'm with Pugs also, 4.5 out of 5. I get it with so many films. It's one of those like no matter what you do, you're going to want more. So
Mhm.
Yeah.
it's one of those. But I also don't really want a 5-hour documentary all the time. So I like that it gives you what you need. Yeah, we can hear more, but it's
Mhm.
a nice brisk watch. It's good.
Yeah, I had that conversation with somebody a while ago. We were talking in general about like the Nightmare on Elm Street and Friday the 13th docs, but you can't do that with everything.
But see,
Like,
those don't bother me.
yeah.
I don't need a 5-hour clip show doc though.
Yeah, no, I agree. So yes, check that one out. But we do have a bonus review for you guys that is pretty relevant because the longly,
Come on,
the
Dan.
long anticipated TV cut coming to Blu-ray of Needful Things, and we'll talk about it. But Kino just put out the 4K, which also has the theatrical cut, and
On 4K.
on 4K, yes. And in this one, Sheriff Alan Pangborn, played by Ed Harris, played by many others, has a devil of a problem. Suddenly, all the residents of his sleepy little town are dying to kill each other. But at least business is still booming, especially at a new antique store. The shop's mysterious owner, Leyland Gaunt, has something for everyone, and his prices are always reasonable. Just one small favor. Oh, and of course, eternal damnation. So this 4K does include the 191-minute television cut of the film, which is so just a little bit of backstory with this. Needful Things very quickly made into a movie. One of the quicker book to screen adaptations, I believe, because the book came out in 91, then the movie came out in 93. It was a theatrical film, and what happened was TBS commissioned Columbia Pictures to assemble a mini-series edit. There was a lot of, extra footage, particularly significant with this film, and part of the issue for the longest time, it did have airings on TBS back in the 90s, but we weren't able to get it for the longest time because TBS owned that version, the extended cut. From what I recall, not a lot at all is really taken out. You've got the dubbed curse words. Other than that, it's essentially just extended. It's not a director's cut. The director, Fraser C. Heston, who is the son of Charlton Heston, does prefer the theatrical cut. But yeah, so we finally got to own this, which I haven't watched this one since the 90s, so it was pretty damn cool.
Yeah, it's often referred to as the TNT cut. I know it had TBS airings, but I know that's where it originally, came from, which is, on the, the dark web. That's what it's always been referred to.
Yeah.
I know it did have a German release not too long ago, but it was in SD. It didn't look as good. But this is definitely, this. I didn't even watch the other one until this. People often cite this as the first movie turned into a miniseries, which is not factually true. The correct answer is Superman the movie that was turned into a 2-night also, the KCOP cut. So
Yeah.
there is precedent, but people like to cite this one. I'm like, well, almost. There's 2 I know of.
It wasn't common for sure.
Absolutely not. No, it was unheard of the first time, and that was more of it's a long movie, we can split it up. This was like
I think a lot of times it's just hard to do it because it's like a lot of footage that is deleted for a reason. So it's just hard to normally do that. But Needful Things is an interesting one because again, it wasn't a big hit. This was the 90s era where this was certainly one of the least successful of that time. And where do you guys stand on this one in terms of King?
And it's not my favorite, not my least favorite, but I have discovered the movie does not need to be that long. The theatrical cut, I get what the director's saying. It's better paced. Everything. Yeah, it was obviously meant to be a theatrical film and not a miniseries.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, while there's stuff that they've added back in that's good, I think overall the theatrical cut is the way to go.
Yeah, I think Max von Sydow is the highlight here. He's a really, really good villain. Yeah, he doesn't go like too over the top, but like he nails it. Those little grins that he would do, he was really unnerving. There's a lot of humor in this one, which I think Amanda Plummer and her cat fight scene was pretty legendary. The movie, it's not a gore film, but it does go hard, particularly with the dog scene. That was something that it's like, oh wow, I feel like they make you delete that one now. I always thought of this one as underrated, and I don't know. Watching it again,
do you still feel?
I kind of put it more mid tier. Like it has its moments, but it's not as strong on rewatch as I was hoping.
But would it have been as strong on rewatch had you watched the theatrical cut? That's the question.
Well, I saw the theatrical cut in the last couple of years because the other Blu-ray's not even that old. No. So I think I had a very similar view, and then it's like, well, there is that other cut. I'm
glad to own it, but it's one of those things where I don't know if I'll go back to watch it anytime. It's going to be one of those like someone wants to watch Needful Things, and then I'll persuade them, but we can watch the theatrical cut for it.
I love Bonnie Bedelia as Polly. I thought she was very sympathetic, played her part well. Amanda Plummer is always compelling to watch here as Nettie. She's just a great actress. But yeah, I mean, it's just kind of like that middle tier. I mean, I feel like, the character of Leland even kind of says it in terms of, it's like, it's not my best work, which I thought was like, yeah, in terms of film, not the best, but not the worst.
It's no thinner.
Yeah. The stakes maybe could have been a little bit higher at times, because I think it's like that scene in there where it's like, yeah, it blew some shit up. Like, I don't know. But it is funny. Like the Buster character, I thought some of that stuff, I was like, I always knew there was humor here, but I do find myself cracking up at it more than I remembered being younger, and obviously liking this one more then. It's one of those ones that just didn't age as well. But Pugs, where does it lie for you?
Well, I didn't revisit the TV cut yet, or TNT cut. Is that what it's called? TNT cut.
Well, now it's just the television cut.
TBS. Yeah.
No, whatever. Yeah, middle of the road for me. It doesn't really hold a special place like some of his other works.
Yeah.
Yeah. I liked it when she banged the Elvis head.
Of course.
So there was that.
Shocker.
Yeah, there was some weird in this. Yeah, like I said, I'm glad to own it. It's not top tier King. It's middle of the road, but it's Better than Children of the Corn. It's better than the Children of the Corn remake. It's better than the Children of the Corn remake. I said it twice for each one.
We would add an hour to this show if you just ran down all the Children of the Corn. It's better.
Is this when we break the news in honor of Stephen King? Children of the Corn franchise show? Come on. Who's down?
No. We did it in the non-video version, and I think that's just where that's going to have to lie.
We did? No, we did. We just reviewed the last one.
We did them all. You're just forgetting. It's
okay.
been a while.
I think you're wrong, but you find that show, Dan.
100% we did it, but anyway,
I wasn't there.
I'm looking it up. I think he's right.
You probably weren't, but we did do it.
So there we go. Pugs wasn't there, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, I don't know. It is entertaining. It doesn't all come together like I hoped. And I don't think the miniseries, like I said, it's all still in the miniseries. So yeah, I mean pacing obviously, but I don't know that it really changed my opinion much. It's mid-tier King. And yeah, but I enjoyed it. I'm not sorry that I picked up the 4K, which kudos to Kino for doing such a good job on this one. We should have that version of the film. It aired. Everybody wants it. A lot of people are going to see it for the first time, and you'll have to let us know what you think of this one.
And Dan promised if he's wrong, we're going to do that Children of the King show. Because if we've never done it, we have no reason not to.
You say Children of the King?
Plenty of Children of the
Corn.
I think we just found our name just covering King in general.
There we go.
But
yeah, because I think we'll do some more King, one-offs. We haven't really done that, so
we got the title now.
Yeah.
I'd like to revisit Storm of the Century for sure. Yeah,
I'm down for Green Mile. That watch along should be good.
Some of that '90s television, like Langoliers, stuff like that. I'm really interested in tackling again.
Langoliers is all right until the unfinished effects come in, which were bad then, and now are kind of unbelievably bad. So
part of the charm of that Arab cinema. You don't care. You're busy looking at Tracy Lords. I was just glad at our first former porn star turned mainstream actress on television.
I do feel like that was kind of like wait, we're gonna see Tracy Lords in prime time. Actually, come to think of it, I'd like some new extras on a Langoliers thing talking about some of that. I feel like I'd like to have some more in-depth behind-the-scenes stuff on Langoliers. So let's try and get new.
You're going somewhere else. I'm like, that might be illegal.
Oh no. But on that note, let's rate Needful Things. I still think it's above average. It's just, I'm going to go 3 stars.
Yeah, it is. It's even like middle of the road. King's pretty solid. It's hard though, like because I'm going to rate with the shorter cut. I give it a 3. Honestly, the longer cut would bring me down a bit, so I'm good with a 3.
Bear in mind, meant to be watched over 2 nights. You have to consider that.
I understand that. And if it would have been presented that way, like they did the King Kong one, shit, there's another one that they turned into a 2-night miniseries. King Kong 76. So there's 3. That one, when they presented it on video, it was broken up, I think. My memory serves. Because it has the opening twice.
How about you, Pugs?
For the version I have seen, I'm going to go 2.5 out of 5.
All right.
It's middle. Sweet. Not bad.
So check out King on Film.
Mandatory.
As you can. And also in the comments when you watch this episode, let us know your favorite Stephen King episodes and maybe Stephen King movies or episodes. But also, like, which ones do you think don't get enough love? Whether that's Needful Things or something else, because there are a lot that don't get talked about much at all.
And let us know if you want Dan to host our Children of the Corn franchise show, as long as we haven't done it, because Dan's already said okay if we haven't done it, because he does everything for you, for our listeners and viewers.
There's other things to focus
Shut up,
on.
Dad.
Why do you want to see us take like 50 shits on 50 movies?
You know what, Dan? I'm gonna make you watch all of them when you're here. We're not going anywhere, Dan, until we get through our daily Children of the Corn.
I don't know why you would want to do that, but I'm okay watching.
I could take a nap till 3.
Do a commissary on 3. But all right, gentlemen, it's been a pleasure, and we will see you guys next time.
Mr. Todd,
good evening.
I'll see you in Disneyland.